This is the path of the initiator, the path of ascension. You shouldn't blindly believe anything I'm going to share with you in this video. You shouldn't blindly trust anything I'm going to tell you. I challenge you to question everything because I believe truth needs no convincing. Please join me as I perform the invocation of the 7 directions. I will now perform the invocation of the 7 directions. To the wisdom keeper in the east, element of air, I will find the truth in the silence of my mind. To the warrior knight in the south, element of fire, I will create with my thoughts, words, and deeds. To the medicine healer in the west, the element of water, I will express myself honestly, authentically, and transparently. To the temple priestess in the north, element of earth, I will give more than I receive and ask for what I want. To the mother below, queen of the moon and earth, I will forgive myself as I forgive others and forgive others as I forgive myself. To the Father above, king of the sun and creator of the universe, I will trust in the unknown and have faith in the impossible. To the all, the here and now, the center direction, I will love all as I love myself and love myself as I love all. As above, so below, as within, so without, so be it, so it is. Amen. The path of the initiator is the final path in the path of the pentagram. First we walk the path of the warrior knight, followed by the path of the wisdom keeper, then the path of the medicine healer, followed by the humbling path of the temple priestess. As we redeem our 4 elements, we begin to climb the path of the initiator. The path of the initiator is associated with the element ether, or what's known as the higher self, the authentic self, the Christ self, the Buddha self, the Krishna self. When we live from the path of the place of the initiator, we live as the Holy One, the Chosen One. We live as the All, recognizing that everyone is a reflection of our consciousness. This is a very humbling choice to make, to accept that we are everyone and everything. But this is necessary as the initiator. And if we are to walk the path of the initiator, if we are to install the archetype of the initiator into our being, we have to be humble that we don't know what we don't know. My path of the initiator began in my initiation, because when we are initiated, we become the initiator in that moment. And we begin to walk the path of the initiator right from the beginning. My path continued as I took my spiritual pilgrimages, 3 of them to Peru, one in May of 2016, October of 2016, then August of 2018, when I was initiated as a shaman, my 2nd esoteric initiation. It continued when I traveled to the Mayan ruins in Mexico, the Pyramid El Castillo, and the ancient temple ruins on Isla Mujeres, the temple of Ixchel, the goddess, also known as Aphrodite, Isis, or the mother. The path of the initiator is our path of spiritual pilgrimage. It's traveling and connecting to the ancient sites in the world. It's studying the ancient practices, working under powerful healers, being initiated into other practices and learning what it takes to be the initiator. The peak of my path of initiation so far came when I experienced a very powerful ceremony. In this ceremony, I was with 2 of my colleagues, 2 of my teammates, my partners that work in this work with me. In this ceremony, we were raised to such a high level of consciousness that we became our highest selves. We saw each other as our highest selves. We behaved as our highest selves. We traveled out into the world. We went for dinner. We went to a park and we connected with other people and we saw those people as their highest selves as well. We were living in the promised land. We were living in heaven on earth. In this experience, we raised our consciousness to such a high degree that we existed in the paradise that all of the spiritual practices promise. And over the next 48 hours, we slowly came back down to a lower level of consciousness, but still not as low as we were before this ceremony. From that point forward, I have been guided to share this path with others so I can continue to grow my own path and continue to walk along the path of the initiator. The work of the initiator is to multiply and replicate ourselves by sharing our truth with the world, not to preach and to force people to understand or to follow our ways, but to inspire them through our example, to invite them lovingly and gently and compassionately to walk the path if they so desire. The path of the initiator is not one where we force others to believe what we believe, but where we invite them to believe what we believe by living a path and a life that inspires them. In this experience, in this ceremony, we lived in a joyful state. We are like children, connected to our purpose, very clear on who we were and what we were here to do in the world. We are connected to our natural joyful state, what the shamans call absolute happiness, a state where we were happy no matter what was happening around us. From that point forward, I continued to grow in my initiation. I performed a 3-day silent water fast where I prayed and meditated and connected to my higher self and was given all of the guidance to complete this system that you're learning about now. I learned how to connect with my purpose, my passion, and my greatest playfulness so that I could live a life that truly made me happy. I was guided to share my truth and my path with others so that I can invite them to experience the same joyfulness and the same happiness that I've been able to find in my life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't experience challenges. What I'm saying is that I have the software to overcome the challenges that come to me. I've developed the courage to have faith, the compassion to forgive myself, the wisdom to look inside and find the truth that works for me, the humility to ask for help and to admit that I don't know what I don't know, and the unconditional love to recognize that all experiences I face are here for me, by me, not against me. I started to learn to inspire others to reach this path and have inspired others to walk along the path as well. The path of the initiator is the path of multiplication and replication. It's when we've reached a level of healing in our life where we begin to share that healing with others. It's where we develop our unity consciousness and we develop a life of lightness and playfulness. We learn to shine our light outwards into the world. We're not desperate to convert others because we recognize that others are a reflection of us. Their pain and suffering is a reflection of the pain and suffering we haven't yet healed in our lives. And that as we heal it, they will heal too. And we need not force them to learn what we've learned, but simply to inspire them by the path that we've walked, by walking a path of happiness and joyfulness. It's a time to inspire others, not to preach to them, but to inspire them, to connect to others, to socialize, to find our tribe, to find our community that's here to help us in our life. We all have a soul tribe. We all have a family that's here to help us get to the next level of our consciousness. This is about getting out into the world and connecting to that community. The discipline we develop is unconditional love in the path of the initiator, the path of ascension. It's learning how to respond to the circumstances in our life and to have gratitude for them, to recognize that we've created them and to trace them back to see how we've created them in our lives. It's the archetype of the initiator, the highest self, the Christ self, the Buddha self, the Krishna self, the authentic self that exists and lives through us, the manifestation of the mother and the father coming together to become the holy child, the chosen one that exists inside of us all, the Messiah, the Moshiach, the one who has come to bring light to the world. That being exists inside of us all. That is our consciousness. It is the true essence of what we are. The elements it is associated with is the element of ether, space, the space of silence, the space of consciousness. The body it's associated with is our consciousness, our astral body, our ethereal body, the body that exists below the physical manifestation of nature. It's the practice and application of all the disciplines, courage, compassion, wisdom, and humility in our lives, to live from the fire, from the air, from the water, and the earth, and to cleanse these bodies continually and to raise to higher and higher and higher levels of our consciousness. It's the mastering of social skills, the overcoming our relationship barriers and finding playfulness and joy in our lives. This is the path of the initiator. It's the inevitable path that we all have to walk if we choose to reach what the ancients called enlightenment, absolute happiness, or the end of correction. It is the place of the promised land. It is the place of heaven on earth. It's the paradise that we've all been promised when we come here in life. And as we learn to heal ourselves and forgive ourselves and purge our pain, reframe our beliefs, face our fears, and humble ourselves to have gratitude for the gifts that we've been given, we start to walk the path of the initiator. We start to walk toward the promised land. This is the path of the initiator. This is the path of ascension. This is the path that has been given to us all. As we heal ourselves, we begin to climb back up to the promised land, to the place we all came from when we came into this earth, to our childlike innocence, to our joyfulness, our happiness, and our playfulness. This is the path of the initiator. Just like in the previous videos, there are practices and challenges associated with this path that I give all of my initiates. If you're interested in initiation, the next video will tell you about the next steps and how you can get to that place of initiation. How you can experience an initiation from me or where else you can look in the world to experience your own initiation ceremonies. The other practices, the other systems that exist that can help you reach that initiation and that place of higher consciousness. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having the courage to walk this path. Thank you for blessing me with your time and attention and presence to allow me to live my truth and to live my inspiration, to share my passion with you, which is the passion of helping people wake up to their higher consciousness. Thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you soon. As above, so below, as within, so without, so be it, so it is. Amen.